Hey everybody, welcome back to Linux for Everyone. Today, I thought it might be interesting to kind of take a fresh installation of Elementary OS 5.1 on my Falcon Northwest Talon and start clean and just kind of set it up for daily use. Walk you through some of the various elements of Elementary, get some gaming stuff set up, and just kind of, I don't know, whatever comes to mind. And I thought it might make for kind of a nice tour of the new update to Elementary, an OS that I have switched to after being on Pop! OS for quite a while. I'm really liking it, really liking it. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. I've never really done a kind of a video walkthrough like this. Normally what I do is pre-produced and pre-scripted, but hopefully it'll be fun. So I don't know, let's dig in. So this is a Ryzen 9 3900X 12-core processor. It's a beast. I love it. I call this machine the sexy beast. We've got two NVIDIA RTX 2080 Supers, 32 gigs of DDR4, and a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. And this thing is it's just a beautiful machine. And I've had Elementary on my Oryx Pro, but I wanted to get it set up as kind of my daily driver on the desktop as well. So, Elementary OS 5.1, it is built on Ubuntu LTS, so they take the foundation of Ubuntu 18.04.3 LTS. It's got the Linux 5.0 kernel, and let's see what we are greeted with. So this is the first run welcome screen, and I really like this. You've got some links here to get involved, kind of a help guide and some community support links. And you just click through it and, okay, I want to turn my location services off. I'm going to turn my night light on so that between dusk and dawn, it filters out some of that blue light, makes it easier on the eyes in lower light reading environments. Housekeeping, definitely temporary files and trashed files will be deleted after 30 days. Oh, you can slide this too with the mouse. I didn't know that. Get some apps, browse the App Center. We're going to do that. And ready to go. Open system settings? Well, let's not do that yet. Let's get started. All right, so the very first thing I want to show you is how Flatpak integration works. Now, normally, if you don't have a system that is set up for Flatpaks, you typically have to get into the command line or get into a graphical window and manually add repositories, PPAs. Those are third-party sources where you can get additional software. But I'm going to show you how this works because it's really pretty elegant. All right, so we're going to go to flathub.org. Let's install Discord. All right, there is Discord. And click install. Now it downloads this reference file, and the first time you run it, you'll have to actually double click this, and you'll see that it is going to be installed with this Elementary app called Sideload. And you're going to get some warnings here, and these aren't they're definitely something to pay attention to. But it's just telling you the download size. That initial download size could be a little larger because it's getting kind of all the components of Flatpak and all the libraries that it needs to run this software. And it'll say updates to this app will not be reviewed. That means that Elementary OS is not going to. It's not a curated app, so they're not overseeing all the updates for Flatpak apps, obviously, because that would be quite a big job. And other apps from this distributor may appear in the App Center, and I'll show you that too. Because once we install that first Flatpak app, and I believe after a reboot, if I'm not mistaken, you'll see all of the Flatpak apps that are available on FlatHub elementary.org in the Elementary App Center, which is kind of neat. All right, so let's install this. Well, okay. Here we go. Install anyway. And this, like I said, this will take a little bit longer than normal, but not too bad. And boom, we are done. So we can just open it straight away. And boom, there we go. Now, there's an interesting, I don't know, it's some kind of little bug or glitch or whatever you want to call it. These icons sometimes, I've noticed this with Discord and Spotify. If you don't see the proper icon there, you will see it after a reboot. For some reason, the system just really needs a reboot after getting that first Flatpak installed. I'm not sure why. All right, so I just rebooted real quick, and as you'll see, that icon, that proper icon for Discord is now there. So let's go ahead and just move this into my favorites and add it to the dock. And now let's check out the App Center. So you'll notice, let's think of another Flatpak app that wouldn't be in the App Center unless we had added that repository automatically by installing that first Flatpak. How about Spotify? Yep. Spotify's there, albeit with a very strange icon. What about something like Slack? There we go. Slack is there. You know what? Let's just go ahead and install this just to show you how fast it is. So, boom, you'll get these same warnings, and you can turn those off by just checking this box, which I'm going to do. But, you know, at least read those once or twice so that you know what you're getting into. Install anyway, and it's that easy. I love it. Yeah, the Flatpak support is nice in my opinion. I love not having to go to the command line, even though I do like the command line now. I was very scared of it at first, but now I've kind of embraced it. But I appreciate that this is much easier than it could have been. So how about the App Center itself? Elementary does things a bit differently than other Linux distributions. They have, I love the update. The update icon is, the little update window is so nice. Let's see if it goes away now. Yep, slides right out. So we've got some operating system updates. Okay, we can get to those later. So anyway, what Elementary does is they have developers who are creating apps just for Elementary OS. Not just for Elementary OS, but with Elementary OS in mind. So the styling and the design, it's meant to kind of melt right into the operating system so that it feels like a cohesive part of the OS instead of just an app that's kind of tacked on that you're using. And you'll see that with a lot of the what Elementary calls their curated apps. So let's look at Quilter, for example. Now, Quilter is just a really nice, straightforward app that lets you focus on writing. And it does support Markdown. It's got a few different visual themes to it. And this is the other area that Elementary kind of distinguishes itself, is they have a pay-what-you-want model for both the apps and the distro itself. Now, I always feel really guilty when I download these apps and I go, oh, okay, let's just zero, because I install these distros on so many different devices, and I have bought a few, and I have supported a few of the other developers, like on Patreon, but I do wish there was a way to have just a simple login so that I could tell Elementary, tell the App Center, hey, I've purchased these apps, or I like these apps. Can you give me a list of them so that I can just batch install all of them? But it is what it is. So we'll install Quilter real quick. Enter your password. And let's just open it. So as you can see, it just kind of blends in with Elementary's overall look and feel. It looks really good together. So if you go here, you've got a few different, I like this blue. Got a few different visual options. focus mode will just kind of shrink the icons a little bit so they're not as distracting, which I like. And yeah, so that's Quilter. So as you're browsing in the App Center, let's go to a category. So let's say audio. So you'll see some are free, some are pay what you want. And then you'll see, and those are always at the top, and then you'll see non-curated apps. So these are apps that you might recognize: Ardour, Amarok, Audacity, for example. I'm going to install that real quick. That was easy. Clementine, and so these are apps that are coming from the big Ubuntu repository, since this is built on Ubuntu 18.04. But then at the top of each category, you'll see these really nice apps that just kind of do this one thing and do it really well. And these are designed for Elementary OS, but they are available to install on any other distribution as well. So I like that the devs have that freedom. And here you'll see kind of additional drivers that you can install. During the installation of 5.1, if you just click Install Third-Party Software, you're going to have well, not the latest, but the latest available proprietary NVIDIA driver. So you can always back it up if you want to. You want to go back to 4.3.0. And then you'll see all of the apps that you have installed, including your Flatpak apps, which is nice. And, as with any other distribution, the Flatpak apps and the App Center apps, I'm saying apps a lot, aren't I? They're all going to install at the same time with your overall system updates. One thing of many that I really love about Linux. All right, so before I turned on the camera, I copied a kind of a small selection of albums from my personal music library onto the drive here, just so that we can play around a bit with Elementary's built-in music app, which you will notice instantly that it kind of resembles an older version of iTunes. And the first time it's going to scan your music folder. And of course, you've got icon view so that you can look at your album art. And I'm not seeing much album art right away. That, of course, could change. Let's see. We'll wait until this scans and indexes everything, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so now we're starting to see some album art. Cool. All right. Anything for Drunken Lullabies by Flogging Molly? Nope, we're going to have to wait until it finishes this scan. Drunken Lullabies, there we go. Not going to play too much, YouTube. I know you're watching. So no album art on here for Flogging Molly. No album art for this Band of Horses album. No album art for the Metallica Black album. Okay, let's do something interesting though. Let's see how these smart playlists work. So add a smart playlist. This is kind of something that iTunes had as well. Let's call it Celtic Rock or something. I don't know, just to... All right, we'll call it Celtic Rock. So match any of the following. Artist is, let's make it Dropkick, if I can type. Wow. Dropkick Murphys. And artist is Flogging Molly. And let's not limit it, and let's save. So it added all the Flogging Molly and Dropkick Murphys that I have in here. All right, that's cool. See what we have in our preferences here. Write metadata to files, copy import to files to library. Very, very basic, which a lot of the Elementary OS apps are, which I kind of appreciate. But with music, I want something a little more robust. So let's head back to the App Center since we have Flatpak support now. And I don't know if you guys know Dark One. Dark One Tech and Gaming on YouTube. He's a good buddy. And he suggested this app called Lollipop. and I really fell in love with Lollipop. So let's install this real fast. And again, it's a Flatpak, and this particular app was actually designed for the GNOME desktop environment, and Elementary is using Pantheon. And so it probably has to get a few more libraries than you would have installed normally. You know what, while this is working, I am just going to hit Super T and sudo apt install Firefox. Elementary comes with a default browser called Epiphany. It's okay, but I just prefer Firefox. Now let me show you something cool about Terminal. Watch this. Get ready. Get ready. All right, Lollipop is done. There we go. Task finished. So if you have your terminal window minimized, it's that any task that it's running is actually integrated into the Elementary notification system. So that's a nice little elegant touch that I really appreciate. All right, Lollipop is done. Let's fire that up and let me show this to you guys. I love this app. Automatically download albums and artist artwork. Yes. Do we have a dark mode? Of course we do. And let's see, auto update music, continue playback when closed, restore state on startup, save changes to files, allow network access. All right. Great. Okay. Welcome to Lollipop. Let's full screen this thing. So it is probably also going to read my music library from my music folder. And, yep, nice artwork. However, where's that Flogging Molly? Look. So this is the album that had no artwork in the Elementary Music app. And here, I love this album, so I'm going to give it a heart. And here, it has already downloaded it. And it's showing me right here related albums that I have by the same artist. And this is what I really, really dig about this. So here's this Blink-182 album, horribly low resolution album cover. So all I'm going to do is just click it, and then Lollipop is going to just search for a bunch of different album covers. And I like this one. Let's do that, and boom. Automatically have a brand new cover, much higher resolution. And it'll give you daily suggestions. It'll have an album of the day, and then it'll suggest some artists for you to listen to. It doesn't look like it's loaded all of these just yet. There we go. And it gives you a genre selection. That's a genre selection. That's really cool. So a little bit of Apocalyptica. Nice. So that's kind of neat. It helps you kind of explore a little bit. What if we click on Apocalyptica and I think we have to play something though. Let's play it. All right, and I'm going to pause it because I don't want to, piss off the YouTube copyright censors. So if we click on what's playing, you will get a nice write-up and bio of the band. And again, here it will show you the albums that you have by that artist. So it's really great. You can see all of your artists here and all of your albums here. And there's another one that has a really terrible album cover. So let's update that. There we go. I'm going to spend hours doing this once I get my entire music collection is about 105 gigs. And that's all like FLACs and CDs that I've ripped throughout the years. Okay, one more thing I wanted to show you here is the search. Now, since we have network access enabled, and I did not copy any of my Pearl Jam, Foo Fighters here, so let's look for Pearl Jam. Let's see if we can play some Pearl Jam. Okay, all right. Wow. Okay. Oh, will it even show us bootlegs? So these are all the studio albums. There's some singles here. All right. It's not showing us the bootlegs, but that's okay. I don't even know where these are coming from, but I'm going to try just very briefly playing this little Christmas tune from Pearl Jam. And it's loading it up. Maybe? There we go. Yeah, I have no idea where it's playing these from. I don't know. But that's pretty handy. So what if I wanted to buy this? Well, that might not be very easy to buy. Let's go for Vitalogy. So I want to buy this album. Where's it going to take me? To some place called Qobuz. Oh, yes, I know you're not available here. Okay, well, that's really interesting. So you can just, right from here, just search for anything and play it. Can I add this to my collection? Somehow? Save in collection. All right. So if I go back to artists, do I have Pearl Jam in my collection? Yes, I do. And I have, that's crazy. Huh. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Okay. So that is Lollipop, and it's available on flathub.org, or if you've already added Flatpak support to Elementary OS, you can just grab it right from the App Center. Anyway, I love it, and thank you, Dark One, for recommending it. All right, let's dig around in the system settings a bit, and there's one thing that I definitely want to show you first, which is parental controls, but first, we will need to create another user. And yeah, I haven't customized anything yet. This was a fresh installation aside from OBS as I hit record on this video. So let's create a new user. And of course, I'll enter my password. We're gonna make it a standard user. And let's go ahead and give her a proper icon. Yeah, an alpaca, her favorite animal, besides the sleigh dog. There we go. Now, let's go into parental controls. This is something that I have not seen on many other, if any, other distro, and I really, really like it. All right, so we're going to turn on parental controls for Terminal Girl. We are going to, we can prevent her from using applications, but allow access with admin permission. So if I come along with my password, then she can use it. So let's say, I don't know, it'd be kind of cruel to prevent her from using App Center. Let's say no Discord for whatever arbitrary reason. And let's say, for whatever reason, no OBS. All right, and we can prevent her from going to, for example, www.alpacas.com. And we can limit her computer use only on the weekdays, and you can set your times there. So very nice option to have. And another thing I really like is just the way this looks. Just the way it looks is so, it's just beautiful. It pops with color, but it's not garish. And so, yeah, I can, like if I wanted to turn those terminal notifications off, I could do that. No bubbles, whatever. Music, same thing. Every app that you have installed that supports notifications, you can select whether or not you want the bubbles to appear in the top right, whether you want sound, and whether you want them to show up as a missed notification in this notification center area here. So very, very nice. So for me, the next thing to do that makes sense is, I've got Audacity installed, I've got OBS installed, Discord, Telegram. Next up, gaming. We got to get gaming set up. So first thing, install Steam. That should be relatively straightforward. And interestingly, since we have Flatpak supports in here now, we'll probably see, we're going to see a few. Now, if you get kind of confused, which one should I install? The best option for me is to just install the version of Steam that your distribution packages. And as with most things Ubuntu, it's going to be sudo apt and then install Steam. Now, if you wanted to, you could do a little bit of investigation here in the App Center. Ah, look at that. I love that. Okay. So yeah, there's not a lot of detail here, and it's hard to tell which one. Ah, here we go. So you'll notice up to 29.3 megabytes. So that is obviously the Flatpak version, although there's not really any indication that it's coming from flathub.org that I can see. So that's kind of a bit of a concern. And then there's a third one, Steam installer. So that's why for some things I will just go to the command line and sudo apt install Steam. Now next is a process that varies across many different distributions. That's getting Wine installed and getting Lutris installed. But it goes a little bit beyond that. Sometimes you have to add a repository to add Wine or Wine Stable, Wine Staging, any of those wine packages. Sometimes you don't. In Lutris, like if you're on Pop! OS, for example, Pop, by community request, added it to their Pop shop. So it's just a one-click install. And Pop also does things like with Steam, when you install their Steam package, it'll automatically download some 32-bit Vulkan, 32-bit and 64-bit Vulkan libraries, which sometimes you have to add by hand, to add those manually. So we're going to see what this whole process is like from scratch. Installing Steam, getting up and running with Proton, installing Wine, and installing Lutris, and playing maybe something from Blizzard, like StarCraft or World of Warcraft. And the first thing I'm going to do with Steam is go into settings, because I want it to try using Proton for every game. Even if it's, obviously if it's a Windows game, it's not whitelisted. I want it to try running with Proton. You just click this box under the Steam Play tab, enables Steam Play for all other titles. Click OK, restart it real quick. I believe this is Windows. Let's find out. We'll install it. Yeah, it's super tiny, so we'll do that as kind of a test run. All right, so we'll click play, and yep, this will launch with Steam Play using a platform compatibility tool. Let's go. There's a multitasking view, by the way. Oh, what is this? That's not good. That's not good. Let's try this again. Haha, that's not good. Well, that is not a great start. Solvable, I'm sure, but not a great start. So over at Wine HQ, they have some preliminary steps. We're going to choose the Ubuntu option because this is Elementary is based on Ubuntu 18.04. Aha. See, I'm wondering if maybe 32-bit architecture is not enabled. All right, let's fire up Terminal. Super T. I'm going to show you something else I love about Terminal. So, copy, paste. And the first time, well, every time potentially, you'll get this paste protection warning. And it's just saying copying commands into the terminal can be dangerous. Be sure you understand what each part of this command does. And that's really good advice. I've done this a lot, so I don't have a problem just copying and pasting. So I am going to turn off these protection warnings, paste anyway. All right, so it did it. So now can we launch Castle Crashers? No. All right, let's keep going. I'm a little stumped at the moment. Well, this is how I found it before. Is I was looking for World of Warcraft, and Read Game World of Warcraft before trying to install. I think this was the wiki that had a bunch of suggestions for prerequisites and stuff like that. Was this it? Oh, we are in dependency hell, folks. And this is where I get a little bit frustrated because I didn't have to worry about any of this with Pop! OS. Okay, so we have a recent enough. I should put this in the episode description for this video. This is a good link to have, and it's not always the easiest to find. All right, so we have a recent enough version of the NVIDIA driver. We have enabled 32-bit architecture. We will, sure, go ahead and do that. Sudo app update. And we don't need to install the driver, but we do need to install support for the Vulkan API. I bet you these are not installed. Let's find out. They're not. Let's launch it and see what happens. Yeah, failed to initialize. I honestly don't know. Let's maybe try a different... Let's try the most recent Proton run or Proton version. Steam Linux runtime is normally what you want because it's just the most recent. But yeah, I guess let's try that. Again, now this is a pain point for me because I really believe in reducing user friction wherever possible. And this is such an easy to use distro everywhere else. But when it comes to getting gaming set up, it's a major, major pain point for me. On Pop! OS, it is install Steam and play. That's really it. I've done this exact scenario. Install Steam, no command line, no nothing. Download and launch Castle Crashers. It just works. So I don't know what elements are missing here. You don't have to install Wine separately because Proton is kind of it includes Wine in the mix. But if you want to run something like Lutris, if you want to run games that are outside of the Steam ecosystem, that are Windows-only games, that's when you need to have Wine installed. So I'm a little bit confused. Let's see if changing that Proton version works. Well, folks, I don't know. Is there maybe a artifact is Linux? Let's just install that real quick. And while that's happening, at least let's see if we can play a Linux native game. While that's happening, let's get Wine installed. First, let's see if it's in the App Center. Wine. And it is. Look at that. Good. Okay, let's install Wine. Let's head back over to Lutris. And I want to install the Battle.net launcher. I think it's just going to be called Blizzard Launcher. Let's see. Yeah, Blizzard Battle.net. Okay, so Gold works flawlessly with some minor tweaking. Configure and install the dependencies first. Instructions for Vulkan support. We're going to click back over there just to make sure. Instructions for proper functionality of Battle.net. Okay, let's click over there too. Okay, so we have additional dependencies required specifically for Battle.net. You know what? Let's just get those. Okay, those are already there. Great. And that, okay, that's not a whole lot, and we've already got those installed, so that's not a big deal. So now we just need to download Lutris. Pretty sure Lutris is not in the App Center. Nope, no results. Okay. Well, we'll just follow the directions here then. Super T for our terminal. We will just follow these directions, not a problem. So, copy pasta. Huh. I know about this, but I intentionally led us in this direction because you'll see it says add apt repository command not found. That's an interesting gotcha for Elementary. I understand that the developers have expressed why they do this because they want to, I guess, have less doors that people can open to having their system compromised or messing something up or adding things, adding software and third-party software sources that are not secure and that are not overseen by Elementary, which to me is interesting because they do now allow you to add Flatpaks, which in turn adds the entire repository from the location that you get that Flatpak app. So this is another small pain point perhaps for some people. Maybe if you're not into gaming, this is not an issue and you'll never need to go to the command line. The solution is installing software properties. If I can type over this, okay. Common, which again is not a very intuitive thing, but this lets you add and manage third-party repositories, aka PPAs. So now that that's done, there we go. Now we can add the Lutris PPA. And then we will do a sudo apt update to refresh the software that's available to us. Sudo apt install Lutris. And yes, I do. All right, let's try playing Artifact real quick. All right, yes, okay. Native gaming's all right. Native gaming's all right. We gotta solve the rest. Lutris is installed. All right. Let's just click install. And okay, great. Automatically opened up with Lutris. And we did configure install the dependencies that were as far as we know. So let's just install it. What this is going to do is get us to a point where we can install the Battle.net launcher, log in, and browse our Blizzard Games library. And the nice thing is that you can, if you have a Windows version, you can just drag that over into your Lutris directory and then tell the Battle.net app where that game is. We have Battle.net installed, and let's just run it, see what happens. Minimize Lutris, and look at that, Battle.net. So let's install StarCraft 2. So there we go. See, it thinks it's installing to a C drive on Windows, program files, StarCraft 2. Let's go ahead and leave that at the default location and install it. Let's see what happens. Enough of StarCraft 2 has downloaded so that it should be playable, at least initially. Moment of truth. Let's do this. Oh. Yeah, come on. Come on. Nice. Well, we don't care so much about the intro FMVs. Let's skip those. All right. That's good news. Yes, okay.
Greetings, Commander. Your objective in this exercise is to use limited forces to defend 3 supply depots.
That is good news. End game. Quit. Man, I'm going to have to replay this game. I am definitely going to have to replay this game. All right, so I decided it's not fair to write off Steam Proton Gaming on Elementary with just one game. Maybe there's a problem there with an Xbox Live sign-in. I'm not really sure. But I decided to check out the new game from Supergiant, who made Bastion and Transistor. Love both of those games. Anyway, it's called Hades, and it just came out of Epic's exclusivity license. So it's on Steam now. I just finished the download, and let's see if that works. All right. Hit our options real quick. Oh yeah, go 1920 by 1080. Okay, not a lot of graphics options, that's fine. Sure, let's go.
Few tales are told of Hades, whose very name inspires fear and penitence, reminding us of the inevitable
Let's see if we can skip this for the sake of time. Doesn't look like it.
We all share. I, however, mean to tell you such a tale. Listen carefully.
Goodbye, Father.
Oh, this game looks nice.
To hell with this place.
Supergiant always has such brilliant artwork and music. Yeah, this looks just fine so far. Not the most graphically demanding game, I realize that, but it's playing beautifully. So 1 point for Proton and Elementary so far. I don't know why I'm blowing these things up, but... So I'm going to come back to gaming on Elementary because there's really a lot more to dig into. But the takeaway is that with several extra steps, it is perfectly reasonable to expect something like Lutris to work and to get the Blizzard launcher installed and play a couple games there. And we've got one Steam game running on Proton out of 2 that we tried. And I'm also going to download a bunch of others, but that's going to take some time. So at the risk of this becoming way too long, I think I will cut it off here and keep exploring Elementary for the next who knows how long. I'm in love with it so far. A little rough around the edges when it comes to gaming, but I think that might be worthy of a guide or at least some further exploration. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have a certain distro that you want me to check out, or if you want to find out more about Elementary, leave a comment. And if you liked this video, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe if this is your first time here. And until the next video, take care and take care of each other.